What is up, everybody? It's your girl Jada Reeds here, aka Diamond, back with another video. And today we're going to be having a book review on Normal People by Sally Rooney. If that is something that you're interested in, just keep on watching. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond. I go by Jada Reads on this channel, and over here I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. So if that is something that you're interested in, I think you should consider subscribing. Today we're going to be reviewing Normal People by Sally Rooney. Normal People is one of the books that I cannot shake. I absolutely love this book. I've just gotten interested in doing single book reviews again, and so I also just finished reading Normal People for the 4th time, so I felt it necessary to do a single book review on this story. Normal People was published in 2018. It is Sally Rooney's second piece of writing, her first novel, and I do believe that Normal People was longlisted for the Booker Prize. One second. And I am right. Normal People was longlisted for the 2018 Man Booker Prize. Yes. So it's a phenomenal piece of writing, and it catapulted Sally Rooney to massive success. That book and her book thereafter, Conversations with Friends, it solidified her as one of the must-read authors of our time. She is a fellow Pisces and she is a fellow millennial, and her books speak to me on a personal level. A lot of people cannot stand her, and a lot of people absolutely adore her. I am of the latter, and a lot of reasons why. We can discuss them regarding Normal People. So, Normal People follows these two teenagers. We have Connell and we have Marianne. They come from two totally different worlds, but they are one side of the same coin, if you will, in my opinion. Connell is a very popular athlete, and he is also very bright, very smart. And Marianne is an outcast. No one likes her. They think she's weird. And she is from a wealthier side of Ireland. And she's also very bright and very smart. So the ways that they are alike is that Connell and Marianne are very bright, very smart. They push themselves. They love literature, all of the sort. And then the ways that they're different is Connell is more on the poor side. His mom cleans up for Marianne's family, and Marianne is rich. So there you have it. These two strike up some sort of bond. They see each other a lot in passing when Connell picks his mom up from Marianne's home, and they strike up a conversation, decide that they are into each other, and they start having a secret relationship. And the relationship is secret. Who knows why, right? Why? And when you're reading the book, you're like, why in the hell does Connell not want anyone to know that he's seeing her? And it's because of this social hierarchy situation where he could not be caught dead with her because all of his friends are going to talk about him really, really bad. Insert mental issues, right? In the novel, Sally Rooney does this thing where she sprinkles little tidbits regarding what both of these characters are dealing with internally, and she outwardly exposes why these things could be so. And that is something that I really like about Sally Rooney that other people seem to not see. You know, I get very offended by Sally Rooney haters, but anyway, that's another topic for another day. But there's all little tidbits. Connell is a very paranoid person when it comes to what other people think about him and feel about him, and he almost doesn't know how to be a regular, how to be a normal person. And so this impedes on the relationship that he really wants to have with Marianne. And so then you have Marianne. She's dealing with a lot of internal issues. A lot of external things are being brought upon her, especially in her home life. Her mom comes from a marriage of abuse. Her father has passed away. However, that abuse has been passed down to her brother. Her brother physically and emotionally, psychologically abuses her, and he doesn't want her to tell her mom. So she's dealing with a lot of those things, and also she kind of carries that on her in her school environment. You can tell. So she just stays to herself and is whatever. But however, she's a very outspoken, very self-assured young woman, and that is something that attracts Connell to her. And so, like I said, they have a lot of similarities, and then they have a lot of differences. And so you just follow the story of these two communicating and miscommunicating, and you also follow them growing into the adults that they become. And I just absolutely love Normal People for that matter. And the main thing that you should know is that it is a slow-paced novel. There are scenes in which Sally propels the story forward, but there's not a lot of action and there's not a lot of drama. The drama is very intimate, very quiet. There are revelations about these two as individuals and as a couple, but it's not so much stated. What am I trying to say here? It's not so much drama and build up. It's just a lot of them coming together and them breaking apart. And another one of my favorite parts of the story is just when they get to college and the roles reverse. I think that is so good, so well crafted, so unique, because a lot of times than not, that's actually what happens in real life. Some of the most illegitimate people in high school, they thrive and they bloom in adulthood, and those ones who are very popular, had all the friends, had all the girls and all that, they peak in high school and they're almost cast aside and fade into the back and the black when they go to college. And so this in turn is kind of sort of what happens to Connell and Marianne. Marianne finds her voice even more. She becomes quote unquote more attractive. She's outspoken. She's more sexual, more sensual. She drinks. She has tons of friends. Whereas Connell goes to college and he's almost nobody. But what sets him aside and what propels him back into the limelight is that he is brilliant in his writing, and he's a deep reader. His major is English, and so he writes, and him and Marianne once again have that connection where they're both brainiacs and they win this scholarship where they come back together again. It's just a lot of breaking up and coming back together. And then we kind of can go into why the book is even called Normal People. It's kind of a misinterpretation of the words normal people, right? If I could just be normal. Oh, if I just was normal. I wish I was normal. There's a quote from the story that I have here. Give me 1 second. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I can't be like normal people. And this is a quote that Marianne stated when talking to Connell. And it's just basically that, you know, this book, in my opinion, me personally, I think it hits home for me in the way that the depiction of longing, of yearning, of wanting, and not understanding why things cannot just be true, things cannot just be so. Why can I just be with this one person, love this one person, and we just drift off into the sunset, you know, daffodils and rainbows? What is wrong with me? And so the interpersonal relationships that these two deal with one another, and with aspects of mother-daughter or mother-son, and even the thought or idea that Connell doesn't know his father. Like, Sally does a wonderful job of just showing how different aspects of one's upbringing, which this is a common theme throughout tons of literature, but your upbringing almost always will play a huge role in who you become when you grow up. And so a lot of the aspects that both these two people who just want to be normal are dealing with come from the complex ways in which they were raised. And that's something that I recognize a lot in Sally's writing. All that inserts itself into all of her literature. And so these are concepts that I just adore when it comes to Sally Rooney. Another thing that I can add is the trauma. So I would say that there's more trauma embedded in Marianne's storyline than Connell's. And so that trauma continuously builds upon itself as she matriculates through her adulthood. And you'll find that there are interesting relationships that Marianne finds herself in, not just with Connell, but even the abuse that Connell subjected her to, with the ignoring of her in public, pretending like she doesn't exist, acting as though she is a non-factor, and she allowed it to go on. And the relationships that she decides to get into while she's in college, one being a sadist and masochistic relationship in which she felt like she was actually in control when really you're not, and you're thinking that this is something that you're interested in, and really it's not. All of those things play on, like I said, the issues that she was faced with and the trauma and the abuse from her childhood into her adulthood from her brother. All in all, the story of Marianne and Connell is, it can be everyone's story. The way that Sally propels these characters forward and shows the evolution of their relationship is one for the books, in my opinion. Like I said, this book isn't so much filled with consistent drama. It's not like to me, it's not a romance book. It is a contemporary piece of literary fiction, but because there's not a lot of lovey-dovey, she doesn't even write sex scenes, and that's something that I absolutely love about her stories. That's another way that we are just like, we are one and the same in that way, because it's just like, I don't really like reading sex. And so anyway, but yeah, the way that she shows the evolution of these two characters in their story of love and of pain, of hurt, of figuring it out is necessary for the literary canon and for literature lovers alike. That's my favorite phrase to say. And I don't know, it's just one of my favorite books. And I think that if you have not read it, you should read it. It inserts a lot of different ways of thinking into your mind. And also, this is like the precursor to Beautiful World, Where Are You? Intermezzo Conversations with Friends, where I have said previously in one of my videos that if Sally Rooney doesn't do anything else, she can teach you how to be a friend. She can teach you how to have conversations, what to do, what not to do. There's tons of key takeaways from her books. If you decide not to read her stuff and just like try to figure out and try to understand what she's saying, you could take a lot away from her books and her literature. So yeah, Normal People is one of my favorite stories. I absolutely love this book. I think that you should pick it up. It is a 5-star read for me and a continuous reread. So I'll be doing a lot of rereading this year and making a lot of book review videos of my rereads, just because, you know, in inserting myself into books that I've read over the past few years several times, it just brings up a feeling in me of nostalgia that I've been looking for. And in my past life, what I would do is continuously watch my favorite TV shows or favorite movies. But I'm finding now in my early 30s that is what I'm enjoying more. Just revisiting those books that made me feel sort of a like longing, an intense love for feeling. And so yeah. So that's what this is. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And I will, of course, see you in my next upload. Deuces.